Shalom. I'd like to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Makakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who were well. And shalom to sincere, hopeful, elect brothers and sisters listening and learning. And to you brothers preaching and teaching this truth through the four corners of the earth. This is the brother Nathan coming out of the GMS Indianapolis camp. Coming back with a quick walk and talk. It's out here getting some exercise. Just wanted to, to press the button. Start off with just thinking about, how Jake is still tied to and infatuated with this current world and this current system, and you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, 2/3 of you that are set to be destroyed here in America, Babylon the Great, you still want to uphold this lifestyle that America has offered you, ran by the wicked Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. Like it says in Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. All right, we know the wicked is pursuant to Malachi 1:4, talks about Esau, Edom being what? The border of wickedness. All right, so when it comes to wickedness, they're at the forefront of it. All right, they establish wickedness. They outdo all the wickedness of all the kingdoms. All right, and then they throw it all together. Babylon, land of confusion. Okay? That's why it's a big melting pot of all these different religions and doctrines and people. That's why this place is confusion. Okay? It says, this is Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 1. It says, woe, which means destruction, to the rebellious children. Who's considered rebellious? Those of stony heart, hearts as adamant stones, being hard-headed, being sottish and foolish and stupid, right? Who's been labeled that? You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, those are the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. All right, so it's destruction unto the rebellious children, because like the scriptures say, rebellion is the sin of witchcraft. Let's get that real quick. This is 1 Samuel 15 and 23. It says, for rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. We know the law says what? To suffer not a witch to live, right? So that's like performing witchcraft, not listening, all right? Doing what you want to do, all right? And the Lord destroy you because of it. This is for rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. Because thou hast rejected the word of Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai, he hath also rejected thee from being king, And this is originally talking about what King Saul, all right? But you apply that to all Israel, and especially what the males, right? The princes of the power, all right? Because you don't want to follow the law, statutes, commandments of Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai, the 2/3, right? Guess what? You're not gonna be saved, all right? And then the Israelite man, you're not gonna get that crown on the first round. Okay, you ain't gonna be joint heirs with Yahweh Shai, because what? You wanted to live in wickedness, so you want to walk the path of everlasting shame and contempt. Put your head down in the kingdom, all right? Because if you ain't serving Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai, then you're not doing shit right, all right? And the Lord gonna destroy you, all right? So woe to the rebellious children, saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. Right, and that's what happens to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. You have fully bought into Esau, Edom, the so-called white man system. All right, that's why you love going to his colleges, his school system, which is really the fool system. And them colleges are bug-out factories, because it makes you worse and worse. It pulls you even further from your power, which is Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai. All right, so you go to these schools and get indoctrinated even more to totally go off against the Lord. That's why the scriptures say what? The wisdom of this world is what? Foolishness with the Most High. All right, because because what brings life unto you is what? The wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the scriptures. It's like it talks about Isaiah 33 and 6. Let's scroll over real quick. This is Isaiah 33 and 6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. What times? The end times. The times we're currently in. As we're watching Esau's system circle down the drain, and we're seeing the fall of our enemy, which we're rejoicing at, okay? Because that's one of the things that the Most High loves to see. Well, I believe it's Sirach 25 and 7, or you can say Ecclesiasticus chapter 25 verse 7, and it talks about if I'm gonna get that, we'll jump right back. Lord willing. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 25 and verse 7. It says, there be 9 things which I have judged in my heart to be happy. In the 10th I will utter it with my tongue. A man that hath joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy. See? And that's the spirit you got to be in, to see in the fall of this place, to see your enemies go down. Not try to prop them up and help them. That's because our people suffer from Stockholm syndrome, all right? You done been beat into submission by your oppressor to the point that you love him. Now that he's done beat you into submission, and now he's letting you do things, like I said, go to school with them, work amongst Esau, you know, pretend to be buddy old pals, get off on all the freakism that Esau has to offer, all his different doctrines that do as thou will spirit. Now you feel like now the spirit is, let's just all get along. You're part of the go along to get along gang. Nah, man. The Lord ain't with this wicked place or these wicked people. All right. That's why 2/3 is gonna be destroyed, because they want to keep upholding this lifestyle. They love the alphabet community. They love to keep that going. They love working for Esau. They don't have a kingdom mindset. All right. They love being in captivity. As long as the white man gives them 2 to 3 weeks vacation a year, right, and health insurance, which they charge you out the ass until then when you finally need to use it, then there's issues. The devil, right? He gives you your food and medicines to make you sick, so that you can be up in all of their medical institutions getting practiced on. So back to Isaiah 33 and 6, it says, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, strength of salvation, and the strength of our salvation. The fear of Yahweh Shai is his treasure. All right. So back to Isaiah 30. Wisdom, knowledge, understanding. That's what you ought to be seeking for. Let's see. Once again, Isaiah 30 and 1. Woe to the rebellious children, right? Because you're not going to the Lord for. And how do you for the information? And how do you do that? You go through first and foremost, you gotta go through his men. All right, starting with our apostles and elders, the great millstone on down. All right, you gotta come a certain way. You can't just jump the order. All right, the Lord put order in place because, like the scriptures say, let all things be done decently and in order. All right, so for these people to think they can just come up off the street and jump past the apostles and the elders and do what they want to do, no, that's not the way the Lord set it up. Okay? There's an order to things, just like in Esau society. All right, you got different ranks, from the CEO all the way down to the janitor. All right, they all got, people over them. All right. Well, just like the Lord, it ain't just a free for all when you come to serve Yahweh Shemel Shai. That's what the Christian church is teaching. That come as thou art, which in their mind is just do what the hell you want to do. All right, don't even come with any type of respect or anything. Just do as you want to do. Nah, man, Lord's doing order. It says, Woe to the rebellious children of Seth Yahweh Shemashah that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover what they covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. Right? Because when you go opposite what the Lord wants you to do, all right, all you're gonna do is add sorrows unto yourself. All right, you're not gonna be living correctly. All right, because if you're living according to Esau's standards and these other nations and how they consume their dietary law, what they eat, and a lot of these nations go against the dietary laws of the Lord. So you find yourself eating all these abominations based off of, because what? You're leaning unto your own understanding. See, and that's where you fall off. When Proverbs 3:5 says what? Lean not unto thy own understanding. Okay? Because what? What it says, there's the ways are death. Oop. Yep, it's Proverbs 14:12. It says, there is a way which seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. Right? Because in your mind you think, oh, I'm doing right, but you're not doing according to the will of Yahweh Shem Shai. See, when you go to men and their understandings and their ways, you're gonna fall off every time. You're gonna be doing the wrong things because these men don't the vast majority of the men on this earth don't perceive what Yahweh Shem Shai set up. Because ultimately, what? It's only about the elect of the nation of Israel that can even get the understanding. All right, of what the Lord requires of us. Okay, and which He set up men to the four corners of the earth to do it. But see, Jake want to leave it unto their own understanding and wonder why they continue to get jacked up and that the curses continue to devour them. All right, because what? They've taken counsel, but not of who? Yahweh Shem Shai. Isaiah 30 verse 2. It says that to go down into Egypt and have not asked at my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Right, just like in today's time, right? You're trusting in Egypt now, the house of bondage in America. You're praying that the SNAP benefits continue to work. Your housing continues to help get paid for by the government. You're hoping that's what I say, what a gift destroyeth the heart. You've gotten all these little benefits in America after they've oppressed the shit out of your people. And really, those benefits keep you in an oppressive state because you're off the teeth of the government, right? You're sucking on the breast of the government and they're in total control of your life. All right? But Jake is willing to turn that in for them punk ass benefits that really do you and your next generation any good. It actually destroys you. All right, those are really false gifts. Those aren't to your benefit. They actually hold you back and keep you even more subjugated. And it says, therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. Yeah, see? Because what? When you see this place crumbling down, which is starting to, all right, as we're entering into the beginning of sorrows. You're seeing the earthquakes in diverse places. You're seeing nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. All right, pestilence is on the horizon. All right, you're looking at civil war talk. People are talking about rising up against the government. All right, because they're tired of Trump, they're tired of this, they're tired of that. All right, y'all worlds are getting ready to be turned upside down. See, Jake has been ignoring the news, ignoring the signs and the times, ultimately ignoring the prophets of Yahweh Shem Shai. All right, like it says in the, let's get that real quick. Too far. This is 2 Chronicles 36, and we'll start at verse 15. It says, "In Yahweh Shem Shai, power of their fathers sent to them by his messengers, rising up betimes and sending, because he had compassion on his people and on his dwelling place. Right. So that's the compassion of the Lord, that he sent out prophets to warn his people, the Israelites. All right, to warn them of the future dangers, and what's to come, But it says what? But they mocked the messengers of Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai and despised his words and misused his prophets until the wrath of Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai arose against his people till there was no remedy. And that's what's getting ready to happen. All right? Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai is rising up, okay, and going to destroy 2/3 of you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans because what? You refuse to turn back. You refuse to give heed to the warning. You rather mock the messengers of the Most High. All right, well, remember, hey, laugh now, cry later. The Lord's going to mock at your fear when your fear cometh. Because what? You despise his word. 2 Ezra 9 talks about what? Since you despise his word, what? The same shall know it after death by pain, since you what? Loathe the law, you despise his word. All right, well, now you're going to be destroyed heavily because you were given the warning, but you refused to turn back. And then ultimately what? The Lord didn't want you to turn back because what? Like it says Romans 11:7, what? The election have obtained it, and what? The rest were blinded. So the Lord ain't want you to get it anyways. All right, because they, believe it or not, guess what? Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai has Israelites that are just set to be destroyed. He says some vessels to honor, some to dishonor. Okay? It's the Lord's movie at the end of the day. All right? Proverbs 20 and 24 talks about what? Man's goings are of the Lord. How then can a man understand his own way? So guess what? He's chosen some to be destroyed, and he's chosen some to what? To be saved and do what's right in the eyes of the Lord. Okay? Because the elect, what? They're going to turn back and rehearse the righteous acts. Like it talks about in Judges 5 and 11. Okay? They're going to be moving different on the earth. It says, yeah, that was the point on that. Oh, yeah, I was going to get this. Straight commandment. This is 2 Ezra, chapter 7. This is 2 Ezra, chapter 7. And verse 20. It says, for there be many that perish in this life because they despise the law of Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai that is set before them. It says, for Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai hath given straight commandment to such as came what they should do to live, even as they came, and what they should observe to avoid punishment. All right? And that's why the Lord has this what? Isaiah 58:1. Cry aloud, spare not. Lift up thy voice like a trumpet and show Jacob his sin of the house of... Let me get that real quick. I don't want to butcher it. Let's go ahead and get it. All right, so Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai has given us what it takes to avoid the impending doom of this place. But guess what? Vast majority you don't want to listen, and that's fine. Like it says, only about the elect. Isaiah 58:1. Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgression, and the house of Jacob their sins. See? And that's the job we're doing. All right, giving to you straight, no chaser. All right, giving thus said Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai in the Holy Scriptures. Like I said, but Jake want to mock and scoff. These heathen want to mock and scoff. That's okay. Because like I said, y'all laughing now, but you'll be humbled. And the laughter's quieting up too, by the way. Yeah, there ain't too many scoffers nowadays as the things that we've been saying. All right, starting with apostles and others, a great millstone on down, is what? Coming to pass through the Holy Scriptures. Everything that's been said for years is coming to life right before their eyes. So, guess what? Hey, and it's really the people are really about to shut the fuck up when this MOT to the B when that Revelation 13, 16 on down really becomes mandatory. All right? Because right now you're in the early adoption phase as society's being set to be used for it. Tap to pay. The next step is that gradualism that Esau uses. Next step is what? In your hand, on your forehead, paying for things. And that's going to be mandatory with the new system, all digital. Okay? And it's damn near digital now. You can still use different currencies, different money systems and everything to use, but it's damn near all digital now. Okay? Back to Isaiah 30 and 3. That's it on it, So, yeah, you guys want to still continue to choose this place and set your foundation and be rooted in a place that's already sinking, that's already being destroyed right in front of us. All right, y'all go ahead and do it. All right, like I said, because the elect, they're actually going to turn back as we're living in these dangerous times, and I'll end it on this. This is Romans 13 and 11. And that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believe. That's right. All right. And since us being in the know, we're supposed to know what time we're in. This is the end of the end. All right. So, hey, it's time to just continue to lock in, stay prayed up, fast, in the name of Yahweh Shem Shai, that we hasten his coming and that we be saved up out of there. So with that, I pray it's edifying to the elect body of the nation of Israel. I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Akakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the others, the great ministers who rule well. Kwam Yashala, Shalom.